Chiba, the gateway to Japan for so many, but often overlooked. Home to Narita International Airport, Tokyo Disneyland, ancient history and culture, natural beauty, and football? Absolutely. This is Football Destinations Japan, Chiba. Chiba Prefecture is just east of Tokyo and shaped like a dog. Its biggest city is Chiba City, but when it comes to football, we need to look at some of the prefecture's other cities, namely Kashiwa and Ichihara. Now, to avoid starting a war, I'm not going to debate which of Chiba's football clubs is the biggest. I'll leave that to the comments section. So we'll begin with the team currently highest in the football pyramid, Kashiwa Reysol. The club's history goes all the way back to 1940, when they were founded as the corporate side of Hitachi. At this time, the club were based in Tokyo's Kodaira ward and made their debut in the Tokyo Leagues in 1941. And in 1965, Hitachi joined the Japan Soccer League as a founding member. The Japan Soccer League was Japan's first nationwide football league. Hitachi were a solid JSL team, but only won the title once in 1972. The 70s were arguably the corporate club's most successful period. As well as winning the league, they finished second once and third on 4 occasions. They also won the JSL Cup and 2 Emperor's Cups during this decade. The 1980s though were less successful, and Hitachi were relegated to the second tier after finishing bottom of the league in the 1986-87 season, with just 1 win all year. For the remainder of the JSL era, Hitachi bounced between the first and second divisions, but they had their eyes set on a brighter future, a future in the J.League. When the first season of the J.League got underway in 1993, the club joined the Japan Football League as Hitachi FC Kashiwa Reysol. The Japan Football League was 1 step below the J.League, and Kashiwa was soon approved as a J.League associate member. The club's designated hometown would be Kashiwa, having relocated there in 1986. And when the club finished second in the JFL in 1994, they were granted admission to the J-League for the 1995 season. Kashiwa Reysol gradually adapted to life in the J-League, and by the late 1990s were a major challenger. They recorded back-to-back overall third place finishes in 1999 and 2000, and also won the Levant Cup for the first time in 1999. After this though, Reysol began to falter, culminating with relegation in 2005 after losing the promotion-relegation playoff to a rampant Ventforet Corfu. The club bounced back at the first attempt, finishing second in J2 in 2006, but relegation calamity befell them once more with a 16th place finish in 2009. Again though, they would bounce back, and this time in utterly spectacular fashion. Reysol comfortably won the J2 title in 2010, which was impressive. But do you know what's more impressive than winning J2? Winning J1. And, incredibly, that's exactly what Reysol did. They held their nerve on the final day to become J1 champions for the first time, and to make history as the first team to win the J2 and J1 titles back to back. Winning J1 sent Reysol into the Asian Champions League, where they reached the last 16. And by winning the 2012 Emperor's Cup, they booked a return to the tournament for the 2013 edition, where they reached the semi-finals. Reysol also won the Levant Cup for a second time in 2013. This period was Reysol at the peak of their powers, and a level they haven't reached again since. In 2018, they were once more relegated from J1 after finishing 17th. But again, they bounced back at the first attempt as J2 champions, signing off in style with a 13-1 victory over Kyoto Sanga. And in 2020, the club reached the Levan Cup final for a third time, but lost out to FC Tokyo. I think we can all agree that life as a Kashiwa Reysol fan is anything but dull. The same could be said for Reysol's Chiba rivals, because JEF United have also led a very interesting life. JEF United Ichihara Chiba, to give them their full name, have a history that goes back to 1946. They were founded as Furukawa Electric SE and played their home games in Yokohama, Kanagawa Prefecture. In 1959, they entered the regional Kanto Corporate League, and during this time enjoyed considerable success, winning the Emperor's Cup in 1960, 61 and 64. As one of the country's best teams, Furukawa Electric joined the Japan Soccer League as a founding member in 1965, and they would go on to win the top division title twice. In 1976, they won the double, lifting the Emperor's Cup for a fourth time. Furukawa Electric were never relegated from the JSL, and in 1992 became a founding member of the J.League. They're one of only 3 teams to have been founding members of both the JSL and the J.League. The other 2 are Sanfrecce Hiroshima and Urawa Reds. In 1991, railway company JR East bought a 50% stake in the club. And this is the origin of the team's unusual name. It's also something that makes the club unique in the J-League. When JR East got involved in the club, the team name changed to JR East Furukawa SC, but that's quite a mouthful, so they became known by the nickname JEF, a combination of the letters in their name. And the club decided to keep this acronym as they entered the J-League, becoming JEF United Ichihara, having moved to Ichihara from Yokohama in 1991. Corporate teams are not permitted in the J-League, so all the other former company sides that joined the J-League completely removed the corporate identity from their names, except JEF, who today are the only J-League team to have a name that links them directly to their corporate past. In the early days of the J-League, JEF United were an iconic side. Their Sega-sponsored shirts featuring Sonic the Hedgehog may well be the coolest kits of all time. As for success on the pitch, JEF were at their peak in the early to mid 2000s. They finished 3rd overall in J1 in 2001 and 2003, and were involved in an insane 5-team title battle in 2005. Just look at the state of that league table. In 2005 and 2006, JEF won back-to-back Levan Cups, but since then the club haven't won any more silverware, and in the league the situation has been even worse. Since 1965, when they joined the Japan Soccer League, the club had never been relegated, but in 2009 that 44-year run came to an end as JEF fell to the bottom of the table and dropped down to J2, which is where they've been ever since. 2021 will be their 11th consecutive season in the second tier. They've come close to promotion on several occasions, losing out in the playoffs 4 times as they strive for a return to the big time. With Reysol in J1 and JEF in J2, we're currently deprived of the Chiba derby, which is one of the biggest in Japanese football, thanks to the fantastic support from both sets of fans and their incredible stadiums. Reysol play at Sankyo Frontier Kashiwa Stadium, also known as Hitachi Dai. It's a wild stadium, almost completely open to the elements. And behind the goal is Reysol's yellow wall, occupied by fans so dedicated that they hand out yellow bibs to spectators wearing the wrong colours. JEF United play at Fukuda Denshi Arena, which they moved into in 2005. The stadium is in Soga and built on the site of a former steelworks. The area around the stadium has been heavily redeveloped, but there are still factories within view of the ground, which JEF recognised with a special kit in 2019. The JEF support is incredible and very colourful. Recent JEF shirts have been luminous yellow, making Fukuari one of the brightest venues in Japanese football. When it comes to women's football in Chiba, the biggest club is JEF United Ladies, who will become a founding member of the J.League. The J.League will be Japan's first professional women's football league when it begins in autumn 2021. JEF Ladies were a consistent performer in the Nadeshiko League, the previous top level of women's football in Japan, and in 2017 they won the Nadeshiko League Cup. It will be fascinating to see how they develop in the new professional era of women's football. Another notable women's team from Chiba is ORCA Kamogawa. Notice the whale in their badge, and of course the word ORCA in their name. This is linked to Kamogawa SeaWorld, which is in the same city as the team. The club were founded in 2014 with former Japan international Ayako Kitamoto appointed as player coach. In 2021, ORCA Kamogawa will compete in Nadeshiko League Division 1, which is now effectively the second tier of women's football in Japan. And their slogan for the 2021 season will be ORCA Attack. Below the professional divisions, there will be a Chiba derby in 2021. Briobecca Urayasu and VONDS Ichihara will both compete in Kanto Soccer League Division 1, the regionalised fifth tier of Japanese football. Briobecca Urayasu's interesting name takes influences from Celtic mythology, the Italian language, and local culture. A brionac was a spear carried by Lug, a prominent god in Irish mythology. Shortened to brio, it makes the Italian word for panache, or flamboyance. The word becca is from a small fishing boat used in the waters of Urayasu. Briobecca were founded in 1989 as a junior club and didn't enter the local Chiba leagues until 2000. In 2012, they entered the regional Kanto Soccer League Division 2, and after winning back-to-back First Division titles in 2014 and 2015, they entered the Japan Football League in 2016, just one step below the J.League. But they dropped back down to the Kanto Soccer League in 2018, where they're one of the strongest sides. In 2020, they finished second, albeit in a shortened league season. Briobecca often play home games at Urayasu City Sports Park, which is right next door to Tokyo Disneyland. And the club have been known to pose for team photos inside the popular resort. VONDS Ichihara have roots that go back to 1967 and the corporate team of Furukawa Electric Chiba. This was a separate team from Furukawa Electric SC that ultimately became JEF United. That team was based in Kanagawa, whereas Furukawa Electric Chiba were, as the name suggests, based in Chiba. The club spent 2 seasons in the Japan Soccer League Division 2 in 1976 and 1977, which was then the second tier of Japanese football. But apart from that short spell, they've spent their life in the local Chiba and regional Kanto soccer leagues. They've been known as VONDS Ichihara since 2011 and won the Kanto Soccer League Division 1 in 2017 and 2019. They also have a reserve team playing in Kanto Soccer League Division 2. The club have expressed an interest in eventually playing in the J.League, but in the shorter term are targeting a place in the Japan Football League, one step below the professional leagues. So that was Football Destinations Japan, Chiba. Let me know which is your favourite team from this football-loving prefecture. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you haven't already done so, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching.